on TikTok. But I have to shout him out because he did one that was so funny. And like, disclaimer, I don't know what's true or not true, but he talked about like, oh, failing a physical, but like Crosby thought like being physical was the physical. So he punched out the doctor.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Draft Digest. The sickest NFL draft and scouting podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Hello, football fans and free agency fanatics. Welcome to another episode of the Sick Podcast Draft Digest. I'm your co-host, Emily Van Buskirk, alongside John Vogel. What do you got for us, John?
Oh, man, what have I got? So this has been a crazy free agency period.
It's crazy if I've started picking things up from it, because like I was telling you before, I don't follow this kind of stuff. To me, free agency is like in college football, the recruiting stuff. Like I don't follow it. That's way too much drama for me. I don't follow but because this has been so insane, it has crept into my algorithm, onto my screen. And so I'm very excited to hear your takes on these things, because this is wilder than usual, right? Like this is not normal.
Every year it's gotten wilder.
Okay. It's escalating.
Well, the window to win a Super Bowl is oftentimes, as some of these people are realizing, very slim. So people are becoming more aggressive every year, and it's because if we're going to go win this game, if we're going to go do this and make this happen, then we got to jump on it like right now and get on top of it. And then it's the whole guard your desk mentality that I've droned on about, as well, that's in the league, right? So people understand that if we're going to have a chance, we have to be aggressive. And if it fails, then, well, we were probably going to get fired anyways. So,
it's a hell of a way to live life. That's wild.
Everybody's on 2-3 year cycles, basically. And it's like, if you're in that Super Bowl cycle, and you're not doing something aggressive to go make that happen, then you're probably doing it wrong.
Interesting. Okay.
That's kind of where we're at as a league. So every year it gets a little bit crazier. Everybody remembers the Russell Wilson year getting traded to the Broncos, and just like the whole "let's ride Broncos country," and just that whole thing that was kind of going on. Everybody remembers that. But this is becoming another level. I said at the beginning, like when the first couple trades went down, I said this is going to be a crazy trade year. You're going to see some massive stuff. And lo and behold, we got our first real mega deal of the year on Friday night when I'm in the middle of the field, and I didn't even know about it till Saturday morning because it was that crazy of a drill weekend for us National Guard people. And when I find out about this, I'm like, holy smokes, Maxx Crosby is a Baltimore Raven. That is insane.
Well,
until today, when we all woke up and we found out, well, I guess it was yesterday now, but we woke up and we found, or I guess we didn't wake up. Was it a night? Holy smokes. These last few days are blending together.
They've all
it's been pure insanity. So last night, I get home from work, I plug in to my computer, and I'm like, okay, let's take a look and see what's going on in football. And lo and behold, he's no longer a Baltimore Raven.
Well, apparently the way that I understood is he never technically was. That was a handshake deal. It wasn't finalized. So, I mean, I guess technically that's jumping the gun for media / whoever, because until it's inked, I know people want to be the first to report things and break these things and do all this stuff, but until it's an inked deal, right? It's not official.
Correct. Well, it's because the new league year hadn't started yet. So they couldn't file the paperwork and couldn't file the trade without the league being in its year.
But you can fail a guy in a physical at any point before it's official. But people should know that. I mean, this isn't the first time that teams have done something like this. So And I'm not saying
no,
they failed him on purpose. That is a theory out there on the internet.
it is one that has floated yet, but this is
Yes.
not the first time the Ravens themselves have
Right.
failed, have nixed, axed a trade because of a
Right.
failed physical.
Right.
Michael Brockers in 2020. I know that there was
Mhm.
another one like in 2017. So just recent history, the Ravens have done this, I feel like, more than pretty much anybody
Yeah,
else.
I feel like people should have been a little, I mean, and I guess I'm people, but I wasn't paying attention, but people should have been a little more cautious, I guess.
Yes and no, because I mean, obviously they wanted to get the deal done, and they had come to an agreement on it, right? And I think that's why Eric DeCosta went on NFL Network today and talked about it. The general manager for the Ravens. The plan was to have them both there, and the Ravens just felt like that there were issues with his knee. He
Yeah.
missed the last couple games of this year
But
because
they
of the
knew
knee
that
injury.
going in. They knew all this stuff going in. So,
Right. And so when they took a look at him and examined it, they felt like this is a much bigger risk than we thought we were taking. It just so happened that there were, 2 first-round picks riding on this.
yeah.
And that's when they decided, maybe it's for the
Nah.
best that we don't go through with this. So 2 things to say to this. First off, I don't exactly know who's wrong here, and I'm not sure I really agree with the official story.
Mhm.
I think that Trey Hendrickson was definitely the target here. Trey Hendrickson signed with the Ravens today
Yeah.
after this trade falls apart. I think
The
that
way
he
that
was
Will
probably
Compton talked about him, he was like the hot girl on the red carpet, the new hot girl that walked up the red carpet, and they were like, "Ooh." And then his cap fell, like his value went down after not being signed that first day, and so they're like,
so
we
when they
like."
went into free agency, Trey Hendrickson and his group wanted $40 million a year.
Right. And he didn't get
Um,
that.
they were not going to get that either. That was not going to happen. No offense to Trey, he's a good player. They were
Yeah.
not going to get $40 million.
Right.
You're 31 years old. You're going to go you're starting to get in the back end of your career. You're not getting that kind of money. So, yes, it came down a little bit. And that's because as they started to realize that the market was not going to pay them what they wanted, they had to adjust to it. And I do wonder if this was the pivot after they failed the physical that kind of made them go, maybe we're going to go a different direction with this. Because
Yeah.
Maxx Crosby was going to generate the same type of money. In fact, I think it's going to be a little bit more. Um, the reality is that if they were both on that team, it was
Mhm.
going to be very difficult to pay them both and keep your salary cap in track. Now, people say salary cap's a myth. It doesn't exist. People find ways to manipulate all the time. But when you look at the way that the contracts are structured, it was going to be very difficult to have them both on that same team.
Yeah.
Did this alter the Ravens' plans a little bit? Yeah, because, Isaiah Likely leaves, signs with the Giants.
Yeah.
That's a tight end that's a really good pass catcher that's been very productive the last couple of years. Ricard's gone. There's a couple other guys that leave. And it's because, well, they had this Crosby trade, that was penciled in. That's where the money was going to go.
Yeah.
So there is evidence to show, based on the people that walked, that they easily could have re-signed, that they did think that they were going to have Maxx Crosby. When that hole opens, you obviously need Hendrickson just so
Uh-oh.
did that fall out?
Yep.
My bad. Trey Hendrickson seemed to be the right prize for falling out, the whole fallout of the Maxx Crosby
Yes.
situation. So I'm still kind of on the fence as to understanding what exactly happened, and
Yeah.
I'm
We may
still
never
trying to
know.
I'm
I
still
don't.
trying to talk to some people and get a better idea of what happened. Because it seems like it was probably a little bit more than a failed physical. And the immediate damage control too that the Crosby's, agent and the whole team put out right after it all happened, where they're like, "Hey, he's progressing just fine. The injury's not bad."
Yeah.
They kind of attacked that accusation straight on. Kind of tells you that maybe there is something to it. I don't think that the market's closed for him yet either. I know that the Cowboys popped up and people were like, "Oh, maybe the Cowboys," and then the Cowboys was like, "No, we traded
No,
for Rashawn Gary, so we're not interested."
I
You
don't
know,
like that particularly either. So I don't think that would have happened, but I'm glad that I don't like that. So
I'm gonna tell you who I think has the most realistic shot at making it happen.
yeah.
Now,
You don't
if
think that they just welcome him back and he stays?
no, no, I don't think so. I think that the whole reason they're looking to move him is because he doesn't want to play there. Um, and then you
Fair.
also have to look at the fact that they just signed another edge rusher. Was it
Mhm.
or I can't remember who it was off the top of my head now. Um, they just picked up another edge rusher to literally replace him. So it doesn't make sense for him to stay there.
Former Colts
Uh,
Quiddy Pay.
I wanted to say it was Quiddy Pay. I couldn't remember. I thought it was a Colt.
Yeah.
So they got Tyree Wilson, and people
Mhm.
are up in arms about that. About him. Was he really worth the top 10 pick that he was? Questionable. Um, but you have depth in that edge group, and you just invested a lot of money into other positions, bringing Tyler Linderbaum, another Baltimore guy,
Which
right?
I told you, I don't know, did we talk about that? I told you he was going to
We
go to the
did.
Raiders. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
I
We did
want
talk
a
about
little
that.
bit of credit for that because I never get NFL ones right, but that one I got right. And I'm really excited for it because if you look at Linderbaum, one of, if not the best center in the NFL, like I would say that.
Absolutely.
In front of what will be Fernando Mendoza, all intents and purposes. And then you have Ashton Genty. I mean, this is going to be an incredible, it went from being like such a disaster to watch, like it was hard to watch, to now I'm so excited about the Raiders offense. It's wild. Just a
They're
few
gonna
moves, like,
be Yeah, they're gonna be competitive, and it's
yeah.
because the other
Look
thing
at,
that people aren't talking very much about here is the
uh-huh.
12 personnel potential. Okay. 12 personnel being one running back, two tight ends on the field. They
Hmm.
already have that situation figured out. All of the top teams in the league run 12 personnel more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's because of the mismatches that it creates. And they've got two of the best mismatch guys at the tight end position in the league between Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. So
I love two tight ends. So I
that's
love it.
that's the underrated aspect here to the Raiders
I mean,
offense
I'm
that's
just
going to
saying
be
the
scary.
offense for the Raiders went from being unwatchable with just a
Mhm.
few moves that they made. It might be some of the best chess playing that I've seen as far as what we're going to see on offense now. Just I'm excited, and I feel like it's been a while since I don't know if I've ever told you this. I'm a diehard Raiders fan. I grew up a Raiders fan. I haven't been as much since they've been to Vegas, but there hasn't been much to get that excited about. But this offense, and especially with the new guidance, we're not going to make Ashton Genty stand up straight. Bend over anymore. He can stand up straight in the backfield because Chip Kelly is gone. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. But
But
I
the
think
Maxx Crosby stuff
Max
has just been,
Crosby, I think the best chance that he has, that a team has
yeah.
to get him right now, is the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, they've got the cap space. How he makes these kind of moves, I think that's the team that makes the most sense, is Philadelphia, and that would be the team that I would
Philly,
be
that would be like,
zeroing in and looking at.
I would see that as a style fit too, as far as like tough, gritty, a little bit crazy. Uh, Philly is that town. So I mean, yeah, I could see that. I just didn't see
And
him as a cowboy. That did not make sense to me. So,
I thought about him and
mhm.
Nolan Smith on the other side, and Jalen Carter in the middle, and Jordan Davis.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I sat there and I was like, man, that makes too much sense. You know, uh, that's freaky. As long as you can keep Jalen Carter on the field, you know, and Dak spat first, but still, there's other issues there. Um,
Side note with Isaiah Likely, former Coastal Carolina standout, by the way, with Isaiah
correct.
and Pat Ricard going to the Giants, I just texted Bloomgren, and I was like, am I a Giants fan now? Like, I think that's my team. I mean, Pat Ricard is my favorite fullback, like current, like playing fullback.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Likely is one of my favorite tight ends. So I think I'm weirdly a Giants fan now.
You were talking about leaning that direction last week.
Already because of Bloom. Yeah. Yeah.
Much to my dismay,
I'm
but
sorry.
it's okay. It's okay.
Well, I mean, with Harbaugh and Bloom there, that is giving me, 2000, mid 2000s to late 2000s vibes from things. So it's giving me like throwback football. The fact that they got Ricard means we're going to see a lot of fullback, hopefully packages and things like that. So I have like a good feeling about where the offense is going.
No, I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of power offense there.
Mm-hmm. Run power often.
Let me bring up somebody.
Yeah.
And that's because let's see, what year was this? Was it the 2022 NFL draft cycle when Kenny Pickett came out? I think it was 22. I think it was 22. It was Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Desmond Ritter. It's a mostly underwhelming quarterback class. Okay.
Yep.
So 2022, Malik Willis was my quarterback one as an evaluator.
Okay.
We do this 5-year thing, right? And the 5-year plan is essentially what we have, like, go back and see how the careers have progressed over 5 years, right?
Okay.
So let's take a look at where we are.
How do you get that number 5? Is that like just a standard industry number?
That's 4 is your average NFL career. So, like total across the board, right? For everybody that plays, 4 years is the average NFL career.
What?
It's true. It's very true.
That's great. I did not know that. That's wild.
Well, you got to think about all the guys that come in as late round picks that don't quite stick it, that maybe get another opportunity somewhere else, and then they're out of the league.
But I would think that those guys would not outnumber the guys that are there for over, I don't know, 8 to 10 years. What is the percentage?
It does.
This is what I would want. Okay. I'm going to do some Googling.
Yeah, do some grokking or something, because, it's very true.
I'm curious what the breakdown is. Like, obviously, you have the percentage of guys that are there, 15 years is insane. But, like, what's the sweet spot of what most guys are in for, I guess, would be my question.
So that's why it's 5, because it's like, if he's extended beyond the average career, like, that you've got a good idea who he is. So we're just about at the 5-year mark
after this year, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so this is where we can start to look back and say, hey, how'd it go? So number 1, the first round quarterback that year was Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett just signed a 1-year, $5 million deal to be the backup quarterback for the maybe even third string, depending on Dalton and where he ends up going, Andy Dalton, for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Desmond
Ritter doesn't play in the NFL anymore.
I mean, okay. Yeah. Did anybody think that was going to, like, that was.
Jaron Hall, mind you, doesn't play in the NFL anymore. And I took some shit for that when I was at the Senior Bowl. People were mad that I would dare say that Jaron Hall was not going to make it in the NFL.
You didn't think Desmond Ritter
was that the year before?
I think
the year after. It was the year after. I don't think I was at the Senior Bowl. Okay. Either way, I just like to harp on my quarterback abilities. Okay, it's just Who was
the next quarterback taken after Pickett in the draft that year? I'm trying to look.
I believe it was Willis in the 3rd round.
Let's see. I have it pulled up right now.
And if it wasn't him, it was Ritter.
It was Ritter in the 3rd round.
Okay, so Ritter, I had a late round to high priority free agent grade on. Didn't think he'd stick.
Yeah. And then Malik Willis.
Who else was in that class?
I'm looking at QBs right now. Like, as far as QBs or?
Yeah, QBs. Okay. Yes, QBs.
So you had those 3 in the first 3 rounds, and then you get to Bailey Zappi.
Oh yeah, I kind of liked him, but
I do like him. Western
Mhm.
Kentucky guy, and that he's the only 4th round guy. And then you go to Sam
It was
Howell.
okay. I think I had a mid-round grade on him.
And after that, it gets
Yeah,
kind of dicey.
it was not a great quarterback class.
Not really sure.
So
Yeah.
basically, I'm just not trying to toot my own horn here, but
Okay.
Malik Willis just signed a deal for 3 years, average per year is at 22 to 24 million, depending on, incentives.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say the certified QB1 of the class. And so here's the lesson that I want to impart on all
Wait,
of
before
the
you say your
people
lesson,
listening.
there were 2 others. I have to say this because
Was it
you're gonna laugh.
Ducon?
Yes, it was. And he
Okay.
was in
Yep.
the 7th round. He was 20th. And then of course Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, we missed. Okay. We missed on Brock Purdy. All right.
Yeah.
We
I
missed on
still
him. It happens to the
I'm
best of
still
us.
not all in on Brock Purdy, but yes, he definitely overcame his Mr. Irrelevant moniker for sure. So
Okay, so we'll take a step back. Brock Purdy doesn't count. Nobody thought about him. Okay,
he
nobody.
definitely counts.
He doesn't count
Okay.
for this exercise. Okay, it
Okay.
doesn't count.
Okay.
$50 million quarterback. Okay, fair enough.
Wild.
Kids, sometimes if
Sometimes if you
it's
dream
okay
hard
to be
enough
right.
and you
No,
look
it's
like
okay. It's okay to not be right at first
oh
because
yeah.
it's not about being right in the moment. It's about being right in the end. That's what I was
Okay.
going to
Well,
say.
and to be yeah, okay. So continue. Okay. So that was the class. So you were talking about what is to Malik Willis's point. You were right about Malik Willis. Is that where this
Yeah,
is going?
basically. Yeah, that's exactly where it's going. Malik is pretty much the penciled in starter for the Miami Dolphins this year. And this has been an interesting situation to watch because they have absolutely dismantled their roster from they're about to pay Tua Tagovailoa like $53 million this year to not play for them.
So, but that's my question is if we don't have like, okay, yes, you're right about Malik Willis, and yes, he's going to be the starter for the Dolphins. But if Tua doesn't I never thought Tua was going to pan out as like a franchise quarterback, but I also didn't think it was going to go as badly as it went for him in the course of the things that happened to him. So I think that's more about like how that played out than anything else, don't you?
Yeah, to an extent. Now, he was probably there a little bit too long. They were a little bit too patient. And you know me, I'm not the guy that's over here like fire the guy after 2 years. But like Mike McDaniels believed in him. That was his guy, and
Yeah.
Tua shit the bed this year. That's the fact. He had more turnovers than I think he's had the last 2 years combined this year. So,
Yeah.
it was rough. It was a rough year, and he's had the concussion issues, and he's had everything else going on. And so, at some point, you got to move on from that. Now, that's a hefty price to be paying a guy not to play for you. That's practically paying a franchise quarterback. So kudos to Tua, sign him with the Atlanta Falcons for minimum veteran deal, and he's still making all the money. But I think what's been interesting is just like the Miami Dolphins are going through an entire culture reset from top to bottom.
Yeah.
They let Tyreek Hill go. They let several key defenders go. And the main problem that people have had in Miami over the last couple of years has been the culture within the locker room. Guys not wanting to play, not wanting to show up, not caring about it. And Jeff Halfley and John Eric Sullivan have come in here and they have been like, yeah, we're not playing these fucking games. We're done. You're here to play football. And if you don't want to play football, then we don't want you here. And I think it's kind of refreshing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the guys that they're targeting, every single one of them that, the guys they let go to start this thing off with maybe the exception of Tua, is the guys that were pinpointed as the cancer guys in that organization.
Hmm.
Well, maybe Nick Westbrook-Akine too. I don't want to shit on him because he's a pretty decent guy. But so like when you start to take the focus back, you're like, hey, now we're gonna clear up this cap space and we're gonna just redo this, and get guys that want to be here and want to play. And I think that could really bode well for the Dolphins to start a good turnaround, and we're gonna find out just how well Jeff Hafley can coach and run an organization. So kudos to them. It feels very Packer-esque. And I don't mean that just because Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley come from Green Bay, but they're taking the exact same approach. And I think we're going to see a lot of focus over the next couple of years on development through the draft, developing players and not necessarily hammering free agency. So, how does that shape up for the draft, right?
Yeah.
This is the beautiful thing about the NFL compared to any other professional sport. We get free agency before the draft. And that is unique to the NFL. What that does, I think, is it allows rookies to step into better situations, and kind of counters the whole thing that I think we spent some time talking about last week in the development issue that we have. Imagine a world where the NFL drafts before free agency. And what you're going to find is, people being drafted because, hey, we have 500 million holes and, we haven't had chances to address them with veteran guys. So we're going to take this 5th-round rookie and plug them in there to pencil them in and then go sign 2 guys in free agency to play over them. We kind of prevent those issues. And I think that's why we pay attention to free agency, because the mock drafts that you read last week are going to be completely irrelevant tomorrow.
Yeah. It's crazy reading some of these reports and hearing people talk about it. I never really pay attention, and it's just like it feels like it's on fire. It's wild. It's been fun though.
The last one to touch on real quick, and I'm going to spend like a minute on it, is Michael Pittman being moved to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
The Indianapolis Colts made that trade. I don't remember what the trade compensation was on it, but I'm not necessarily worried about the Colts. I mean, that's a whole nother topic. I think the main problem here is Pittsburgh bringing in, Michael Pittman Jr. Sounds great on paper. Michael Pittman Jr. is a pretty darn good receiver. He's a good route runner. He's got good size, fights at the catch point, does all the things that you want of a number one receiver. But they already have a number one receiver, DK Metcalf. And DK Metcalf is a straight line runner. He is not particularly adept at running underneath stuff or timing concept routes. And so Michael Pittman is clearly a better one receiver than DK is. DK's got a little more speed. But what are you going to do with DK now? You're going to ask him to play like Deebo Samuel? Good luck. Really, I wish you the best. He's a big guy, but he's not going to be running those drags across the middle with any consistency. Like, that's not what he does. That's not his game. His game's the deep ball. Go over somebody and, run. Use that 4.3 speed to stretch the field and take that deep, safety away. So where does that put Michael Pittman Jr. in all of this? Because he's not going to play the two. At least I don't think. So we've seen this happen before. Think of Dallas this year with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
That worked on some Sundays, but it was not consistent, especially as the season wore on. It's because when you got 2 number 1 guys that do very similar things,
yeah,
neither one of them really fits into the 2. you really struggle, and it's egos. It's getting the ball
Well, they
around
actually
consistently.
hold on. Let me touch on that because I actually know those two and their room pretty well. And I think that was more of, Pickens was young and they were developing him, right? And he actually, I mean, he's better maybe than they anticipated and he developed quicker. But there's no animosity between those two. They're very.
Oh no, that's not at all what I'm anticipating. That's not at all
I
what
don't
I'm
think the
suggesting.
ego is an issue. I do agree with you that they're the same kind of player, so it is hard to slot them 1 and 2 and to have that guy play the second one. But it wouldn't be about ego. It's just I think Pickens ended up progressing and being better than anticipated. He's young.
Let's clarify ego real quick. Ego, when we talk about receivers, a lot of the time is, bro, you gotta give me the ball. Bro, you gotta give me the ball. Like, come on. Why, dude? Did you not see me? I was wide open. Why did I not get the ball? And that doesn't create animosity between receivers usually. It does in some cases, but that's the ego is, dude, I need the ball every freaking play that I can get my hands on it. And when you can't get the ball distributed consistently, it's very difficult to keep an offense from flatlining.
I think that is a weak man's mentality. If you're not getting the ball enough, you're going to suffer. I don't think those guys are like that. I don't know. You got to be tougher than that and stronger than that, ego wise. Are you saying that these wide receivers have agile egos?
Yes. Some definitely do. I mean, look at how mad Stephon Diggs gets on the sideline when he starts.
I mean, yeah, that I have seen. That's wild. I would not say that Pickens is like that. I don't know. CeeDee Lamb maybe a little bit more just because he's such a big deal, I guess is the way to put it. Pickens had been a little more under the radar and really blew up this year, but I don't think it was an issue for him. Maybe for CeeDee more. I'm not sure, but neither of them I don't think are like Stephon Diggs. I've actually, and I didn't even know that about him. And I saw him do that on the sideline. I was like, holy. He's like outwardly just like trashing people just during the game on the sideline.
Yeah, and that's how some of them are,
That's crazy.
Pickens got moved from Pittsburgh because he had some maturity issues that he's having to grow out.
He's young. People forget that he's young. So, but he's grown a lot, and I think he really responds well to Junior Adams, his coach in that room, who's now going into his second year, and he's, from what I've spoken to Junior about, he's progressed maturity wise.
No, you saw it. The only problem was that when CD went down with the injury this year, he wasn't ready to be the only guy.
That was relatively early, right? Or mid.
It was mid-year, mid-season. Yeah. I think
he needed this year to
CD came back. Was it right before Thanksgiving? I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like that mid-year era, when it's hard to keep the focus on the year. But that's what I got. There you go. There's my free agency breakdown. As quickly as I could give it.
That was very succinct. I like it. Because it could, I'm sure we'll touch on it more in each episode as it progresses. I have one college football piece to just throw out there. Obviously the focus right now is on NFL, so there's not like a ton of they did do schedule releases, which gave us college football fans a little taste. So we got to see the schedule layouts finally. I'm really excited about all these overseas games. They're not only doing the Ireland game again, they added in a Brazil game. Then they added in an England game, which is the one that I'm trying to get to. I think that's going to be incredible. Kansas ASU in London, September 19th. So I will be working on going to that. But aside from that, we had some really par for the course news out of New Jersey from Rutgers, skipping the spring game. Now, look, I know teams have done this. Last year, I think 19 programs decided not to have spring games, which I will judge them for and look down upon them for, because spring game and I put game in quotes, it's a spring experience. You know, you get to see the guys on the field, fans get to get excited about the season, which now more than ever, when rosters are so new and turnover is so crazy, this would be something I would think would be good to build fan appreciation, to build relationships, you know, with fans and the team that they're going to be cheering, because they probably don't know half these guys. No, Rutgers was like, no, we're not going to do it. I think the quote was, I can't find it now, but now to be fair, one of their players got hurt last year in spring game. So that is why they're doing this. But he said it's not in the best interest of the program to have a spring game, Greg Schiano. So typical Rutgers move, hate it, hate this idea, really hope that more teams don't follow in this path. What are your thoughts on spring game?
Okay, well, first off, you said Greg Schiano. So the Tennessee fan in me that I'm Tennessee fan in me is like, yeah, see, we told you. But
yeah. Well, anybody that goes to Rutgers, like, this is what happens to them. So I don't know what to say other than that. But
I think spring games have been a consistent way, in the traditional way, that teams have been able to kind of start to build that gel. And I think this year they're more critical because you don't have that portal in after the spring.
Yes.
That might be something that some people are overlooking here, because it's not like people are going to use the spring game to springboard to another school now. That's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, there might be some to try, but good luck.
But it's not really even games in many places anymore. You know, it's series. It's series of plays that they're executing as a team. Not even with full contact or full. I mean, I guess they're in full pad. It's right. It's an experience. That's really. I think that's what they call the Stanford one, is a spring experience, and that's what it is. And I just think it's really dumb that they're getting rid of it at Rutgers. It's not surprising, but I'm upset. And I really hope.
I want to know what he's doing instead. You know,
that would be nothing.
I could judge it.
So, as far as it looks like, so he announced it at the pro day that, and what's crazy is there is a big, and I hate even saying this because I hate giving Rutgers airtime, but like there's a big off-season battle between quarterbacks, right? Because you've got the Boston College transfer Dylan Lonergan, who is good, and he's battling against junior AJ Surais. I don't know how you say his last name, but he's a young guy. And that's actually something that I'm interested in. And we will have and not that you learn that much from pro day or from spring games, but you get to see them throw, both of them, and how they interact with the team and how they, coordinate an offense. But now we won't. I guess last year, wide receiver Fama Torre suffered a season-ending knee injury in the spring game. So that's what prompted them to not have it. So I don't know if
I'm
sure they'll do anything to replace it. Like if they'll have like a Midnight Madness type pep rally, who knows? But I'm upset.
I wouldn't even be. I'm looking from the football standpoint. Like what are you replacing it with? What kind of experience are you trying to? Because there is some value to having them go through a game day experience and getting ready.
Yeah, so, it benefits everybody. I mean, yes, it's unfortunate that this young man got hurt. I would say that's more about the optics, or not optics, but the operations of how they ran the spring game than necessarily, or who knows what it was, but I don't think that's a reason to do away with the whole process of it. So it's crazy. Typical Rutgers. So that's kind of what grinded my gears about college football this week.
Well, last thing I'd mention before we call this thing for the week, Landon Robinson. We had him on, had his pro day.
Killed it.
First of all, Navy did a great job at the pro day, and having it at night was also a nice touch, because then you got to show everybody the flag being lowered and the
Scott Strauss knows what he's doing. Scott Strauss, he knows what he's doing. Newberry knows they're incredible there. They do such a good job.
That was a fantastic touch to the pro day, right? Because everyone that's ever been in the military knows that at the end of the day, at 5:00, when they lower the flag, it's not taps that they play, but you turn to the flag, you salute. And that's what everybody did on the field, which was freaking awesome. So you give them all a little taste of, hey,
Yeah.
this is the tradition. This is what we do. And bring it back to the whole thing, which is, hey, these guys are going to at some point, whether it's after their pro careers or it's after this pro day, going to put their lives on the line for you. The other thing that was wonderful was not only did he have a great pro day, he ran a sub 5:40.
Yeah.
Incredible. My truck is beeping at me. Hang on. I've been
I
sitting
think
here
the
too
internet almost broke with all of the information from his pro day. People were, which I don't understand why the surprise and why people that know what he can do. But I'm glad that it garnered the attention and got,
Yeah.
people saw it and they were like, okay.
30 and a half inch vertical. I'm pretty sure his broad jump was better than anybody that was at the combine. Fantastic numbers. And I'm sorry that you weren't here to talk to him, because he was a really good one. I know that you guys know each other a little bit.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't shock anybody. And it's not just because of the person that he is, but because we saw the tape. We saw what he did at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's what I told him too. And I think, I don't remember if I told him on camera or not, but I remember I said, dude, like, people, just because you didn't get a combine invite doesn't mean anything. There's like 30 of those guys that get drafted every year. There's usually more, and I think you're gonna be drafted. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that. And it's because you've got the size, you've got the intensity for, to make up for the lack of size that you have traditionally at the position. You've got the athletic ability to. Now you just got to focus, dude. Go out there and do it. And he did. And that's exactly what NFL teams were telling him, 100%. And he's done that. It's just accomplishing another mission. Granted, hey, Navy, I get it. Cool. The Army guy in me still feels a little bit bad that we didn't end up with him. But,
that was not the nicest I think I've heard you about. Maybe. Good job. That's growth.
Whoa. I just gave him 5 minutes of, hey, that pro day was awesome.
I'm saying this is real growth from you. I'm very
you'll never hear me say this again, okay? Ever again.
Hey, Navy's gonna keep putting out guys like Landon. I mean, that is what Newberry does now. So you are gonna have to keep doing this every year. Sorry, but also, little side note, did you see Army lost a real one to Miami, coaching wise? Mike Vitti just
saw that.
That's going to be tough because Matt Drinkall always used to tell me, you need to interview Vitti. He's like the heart and soul of this team. He is like the guy, the dude. And I'd never spoken to him other than maybe on Twitter a little bit, but seeing him go to Miami, that's a tough, I don't know how they're going to replace him. That's a really tough loss for Army's coaching staff. So I'll be interested to see what move they make there.
Tough. We will be watching. Yes, we'll be watching with bated breath. Who are they going to pull out of the? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I will say Moncton is good at that. He is good at finding those kind of guys. But do those guys exist out there still, or have they all been snatched up? I don't know. So we'll have to see. Time will tell.
This is true. Well, I'm good. I'm good on my side.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us at the Sick Podcast Draft Digest. I'm your host, Emily Van Buskirk. He's John Vogel. We will see you next week.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Draft Digest on YouTube, X, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.